big story from yesterday was the Australian shooting. Aye, nigh. Someone shooting at Jews. The Jews are being shot upon. Aye, nigh, Jews. Run, Jews. So there was a Hanukkah celebration, the first day of Chanukah, down there in Australia, and a couple of people, I guess they were of Indian descent, Muslims, though. You know, anywhere over there, those people that are Muslims, they're gonna shoot or blow things up. That's how they do. So this father and son, nice when you see that, right? If only Rob Reiner could have been a father to his son Nick, like the terrorist that shot up a bunch of Jews celebrating Hanukkah was a father to his son. His son probably had a good idea. Dad, let's shoot up some Jews. And father and son went off and did a little project together. See, Rob? So that was what went on. They shot, I believe, 15 people. 16 are dead. Many more wounded. 40 people were still hospitalized as of last night. And you watched the videos, and astounding. These two were able to fire their weapons over the course of about a half hour. Maybe a little shy of a half hour. Boom, 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 boom. Half hour. The police finally show up. I think initially 4 cops showed up. 2 women, who there's pictures and videos of them, like literally with their hands in the air. I don't know what to do. What do we do? But guns are illegal here. Guns are illegal. Oh, that's more English. Eventually, cops showed up. They started firing on these two, and a half hour later, they were summarily dispatched. The father got it first. He died of his wounds, and the son continued firing while his dad was laying face down on that little walking bridge that they were on to give him a little elevation, gave him a little cover, the sides of the bridge, so a lot of their body wasn't sticking up over. It was, thought out, obviously. It was planned out. They knew that this was a Hanukkah celebration. They knew where it was. They knew that their vantage point, that bridge, gave them a little elevation and a little cover. So that's what they did. So the son shot for a little while more, and then he was dispatched, and that was that. But a lot of people wondering what the fuck took the police. This wasn't in the middle of the outback. This wasn't somewhere far, far away from civilization. Where were the cops? Well, that's what happens. The cops aren't there to save you. They're there to clean up the mess, fill out the paperwork, and then hand it off to the politicians who use any tragedy for their own advantage and agenda. That's how it works. And if you think the United States is against having people defend themselves, you ain't seen Australia. They really don't want people protecting themselves. And we watched so many videos yesterday of the shooting in progress. And every single video I watched, if that was a view through a scope of a rifle instead of a camera, that problem would have been solved in moments. The people could have made very short work of those 2 gunmen, because given the elevation of their perch on that bridge and the fact that 2 sides of the bridge were open to get up onto the bridge, the the other sides, of course, they were taking cover behind that. But one guy was recording this scene from a vantage point that would have given him the easiest shot ever at both of the gunmen. But they don't have guns. The criteria, the hoops you got to jump through to get a gun in Australia is unbelievable. The father of these two, the father of involved in this shooting, he got guns registered. He belonged to a shooting range, a club, a shooting club, which is one of the things that will allow people to have weapons in Australia if you belong to a shooting club. And you have to register all your weapons. This guy had 6 rifles, all registered legally. And those weapons were used to murder people. So what good are your dumb gun control things? And, I think Australia doesn't have as many people willing to murder other people as we have in the United States. I honestly believe that. I think we have a huge gang problem here. We have a culture problem here in the United States. And the vast majority of murders by gun here in this country are perpetrated by those people. Those people. And Australia just doesn't have that. It doesn't have that yet. Let's say yet. They do have radical Islam. And they've allowed those people to come into their country, unvetted, apparently. And those people will pick up weapons and murder your population. Just not in the numbers, the nightly murders like Chicago and Atlanta and Baltimore and Detroit and New York and L.A. and, They just don't have that going on. If they did, I don't think their gun control would have made a shit bit of difference. They'll get the weapons. They'll use machetes, whatever, like they do in jolly old England. But as far as I can see it, Australia, the cities, major cities, Melbourne, Sydney, they don't have the same problems we have, which is this population of black people that just stack up bodies in every major city in this country every week due to gang affiliation, drugs, dissing, drill rap battles, beefs. It's retarded. But we have that. And the vast majority of murders perpetrated in this country are perpetrated by them from those situations. Australia doesn't have that. So they think their strict gun control, gun restrictions works because they go, look, we don't have that many murders, not like America, not that many murders. And it's because you just have a cultural different thing going on in your cities. But now, when you got a couple of people that want to murder people because they're Islamists, extremists, they got guns. They could get guns. Your gun control didn't work for that, did it? And it won't, regardless of how much more strict they make it. And boy, sit back, because you will see Australia now go into overdrive. The very limited availability of firearms to the population in Australia that they had is going to be gonzo. Goodbye. No one is allowed to have a gun. That's where they're going to go with this. But like I said, if you want to murder groups of people, and you're in a country that has very restrictive gun laws, it don't matter. You'll get guns. You'll go through whatever it takes to get guns. So this guy, like I said, he was able to register 6 guns. They took all 6 guns to this location or other. They planted them in other locations and fired away. with impunity for a half hour. The one gun the guy had looked like a Beretta bolt action, but a straight pull bolt action. And a Beretta, what is it called? A BA1, something like that? I don't know. BX1. It doesn't matter. It's a Beretta. It's a bolt action rifle, but you know how you have to pull a bolt up, pull it back, forward, and back down to lock it in place. Boom! Boom! Same thing. You know, they talk about a Lee Harvey Oswald and could he get 3 shots off in that matter of time with a bolt-action Italian rifle. This gun, this particular gun the son was using, is a straight pull bolt action. You just pull it back and push it forward. No, you don't have to take those extra steps of pulling the bolt up and down. And this guy, judging from those videos, had practiced. He was very proficient at working that bolt to the point where he was very close to a semi-automatic fire rate, an aiming semi-automatic fire rate. You could take a AR-15 and just as fast as your finger can move and rattle shots off. Your accuracy is going to suffer. You know, if you want to aim with a semi-automatic through an optic, a red dot, or an ACOG or something, you're not going to be rattling shots off like that. You're going to be picking, bam, 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 and choosing and taking shots. This guy was doing pretty much the same fire rate as accurately firing an AR-15 with a bolt-action rifle. That isn't on anyone's list as far as what an assault rifle is, which kind of blows up the liberal left-wing Democrat argument here in this country, that they want to do away with assault rifles, AR-15, semi-automatic. Because we saw this guy firing rounds, and he was doing just fine with that straight pull. Are they going to ban that? Do they want to consider that an assault rifle? You know, we will see. Time will tell here in this country. In Australia, I guarantee you every single rifle that was used in that attack is going to be verboten. And they are going to really, really restrict who can get guns. As a matter of fact, the Australian Prime Minister, first thing he does is says that, well, we'll do the gun one first. Aussie Prime Minister talks about more gun restriction.
And I want to conclude finally by saying that the government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws. And this afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will put on the agenda of the National Cabinet tougher gun laws, including limits on the number of guns that can be used or licensed by individuals.
Owned.
A review of licences over a period of time. People's circumstances change. People can be radicalised over a period of time. Licences should not be in perpetuity. And checks, of course, making sure that those checks and balances are in place as well. We will I'll take to National Cabinet this afternoon a proposal to empower agencies to examine what can be done in this area. Quite clearly, the Howard government's gun laws have made an enormous difference in Australia and are a proud moment of reform, quite rightly, achieved across the Parliament with bipartisan support. If we need to toughen these up, if there's anything we can do, I'm certainly up for it, and I hope to get National Cabinet on board for that this afternoon as well.
Oof. Well, I hope you enjoyed having your bolt-action guns and, you know, slingshots. I'm sure they'll take away slingshots and pea shooters. But, yeah, they don't have a right to own weapons. in Australia. You don't have a right. The government can tell you and will tell you and will really tell you that you can't own a gun. And they'll go to that. They'll make it so restrictive now because these tragedies that happen are just another stepping stone toward disarming the population. And like I said, the inability for anyone that was watching these two people mow down innocent women, children, men, they could have done something. Let me grab my rifle out of the closet, shoot this cunt out on the bridge. And they couldn't do anything but record it on their phone and go, I nigh. So that's what's going to happen in Australia. But at least the Australian Prime Minister knows the dangers in Australia and knows the people that they ought to keep an eye on to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. You talk about red flags with these gun registrations. You think you wonder who they're going to look at. What political affiliations will the people have that they will review their licenses? Let's see. Let's hear what the Prime Minister has to say.
We take ASIO's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of ASIO has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
Right-wing extremist groups. The bodies aren't even cold. There's been a mass shooting and the bodies aren't cold. And this motherfucker is bringing up right-wing extremists. That's your big danger. You just saw two Muslims mowing down people. And you have to assess the threats by saying the rise of right-wing extremists. What have they done? Worldwide, can you please give me examples of right-wing extremism murdering people? Can we? Any? No? Yeah. It's not happening. There are groups, there are people independently that consider themselves right-wing that have opinions. You can talk. You can not like people, communities, religions. You could talk about it. And that's what the right wing do. But to think the right wing is a threat that has to be looked at for possible shootings and murders, give me an example. He didn't bring up Islam. That's for sure. And you think when they start really doing these gun grabs even further in Australia, that they're going to go to Islamic extremist houses and start shaking them down for their weapons? Or you think it's going to be a guy that posted something on social media about Muslims? Oh, my God. They're lost down there. When was Australia cool? Like the shrimp on the Barbie guy? He was cool. Diananda. That's a knife. You know. And now, a bunch of fucking fags. What happened? Rough and tumble. You know, fighting. Now they're just pussies. All right, government. Come take my guns. Take them away. Government came yesterday. Took me guns. What are you going to do? How are you going to hunt those crocodiles and big fucking snakes? Good luck, Australia.